doing numbers.
It's Madden NFL 23 on EA Sports. And today's clash of conferences is just moments away. It's the Fins and the Niners. All that and more coming up next.
From the host to Super Bowl 50 back in February of 2016, there's a look at the home of the 49ers, Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara. Coming up, we've got a good matchup on tap between the Miami Dolphins and the San Francisco 49ers. With Charles Davis, as always, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Charles, you talk about storylines in this one. I think it begins and ends with our two quarterbacks, certainly two of the best in the business.
And nowadays, I don't think you get by for long periods of time without a top-flight quarterback. The way the game is played, with all the responsibility he has and how the game flows through him, if he's not on the top of his game, your team's not going to benefit at all.
Here's a punter, Thomas Morstead, to get this one started. And we are underway from Santa Clara. And the opening kickoff will not be returned, as that will be a touchback. So here's the first drive now for the 49ers. They'll be led out by a man in his 23rd NFL season. Still doing it at age 45, Tom Brady.
And at one point, he announced to the NFL world that he had accomplished everything he needed to and was going to retire, but then reversed that decision. And I think everyone who likes football loves the fact that he's still out there throwing it around and still at the top of his game. And a career that's seen and accomplished just about everything, he figured there was always room to add to that legacy.
They'll start with a run by Mitchell. He'll be dropped after a gain of about 6 across the 30 to the 31.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
Six yards on that last play. Here's 2nd and 4. Brady going to throw.
Well, he tries to force it in, and it's intercepted.
Picked off by Jerome Baker. And he will bring it back. It's a pick 6 and a Dolphins touchdown.
So a big defensive play there on the opening drive, no less, as they make the interception and bring it back for the score.
And I think that's a signal for how this defense wants to play. They want to be disruptive, and you know they're going to take some chances.
Well, sometimes it can burn you, but right there, it paid off.
Jason Sanders now for the extra point. And that makes it 7-0 Dolphins. So the defense creating some points, not only getting the interception, but then returning it to the end zone for the pick 6. So they throw the pick six. They'll get another shot at it now as this one's in the air. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback.
Back out there comes the 49ers offense ready for their second drive. Now remember, they were just out here a moment ago through the pick six, so we'll see if they can take better care of the football this go around.
Yeah, and sometimes, partner, I think it's almost better that you just throw the pick six and you come right back out on the field. You're not over on the sidelines dwelling for it for very long. You're not hearing everyone say, oh, hey, you'll get them next time. Hey, don't worry about it. All that stuff just goes right out the window. You're right back out on the field with a chance to atone.
Now Brady to try again after the pick six.
He'll get this underneath to McCaffrey.
And he takes this up to the 40-yard line before being corralled. Good work after the catch. Gets him 15 and a first down.
Nice little nifty play for him there. That's the ability to read a defense and utilize players that don't often get picked up in coverage easily. And I'm talking about being able to use the backside of the backfield. Because I know that when I used to cover, hey, we got everybody oh, he just snuck out there, and they just got a nice first down there.
What do we love to say? Get those backs into space, right? They were able to do that there. Nice pickup on first down. So quickly all the way up at the 40-yard line.
First down, here's Mitchell.
And now they're going to get him down right at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. It'll be second down.
As usual, the hallmark of a good run defense, linebackers making plays near the line of scrimmage. Absolutely nowhere to run there.
Officially nothing on that last run. They'll try again, second and 10.
On second down, here's Mitchell.
And they get to him after a gain of 6 to the 46.
And there we saw one of the downsides of blitzing during a rundown, because sometimes you get out of your gaps. You don't fit the run quite as well because you're headed towards the ball carrier with abandon.
The Dolphins bring on an extra defensive back on third down. From the gun, it's Brady. And that will be incomplete.
Well, anytime he reads man coverage, I don't think it's going to be the only time he'll try and hit that route to the outside in this game. He'll test the perimeter, but that time they were up to the challenge.
So on fourth down, here's the Australia native Mitch Wishnowsky to punt this one away. Back deep is Tyreek Hill. That'll go as a punt of 32 yards. And it'll be Dolphin football. So out comes this offense to take over for the first time. And they will be led out by the youngster, the rookie, their QB.
If you ask coaches at any level to decide their ideal leader of a team, I think they're going to check every box with this guy. He's got the poise to handle responsibility. He stays calm under any kind of pressure. And he brings out the best of his teammates each and every week.
They'll try and start this drive in the air. He'll get this to his tight end, Gesicki. And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. Second and right at a yard.
Now that's staying ahead of the chains. Really good pickup on first down, hitting the tight end there. Now it brings up a second and manageable.
Just found a hole in that zone. Sony Michel, his first carry. A gain of 5, good enough for the first down.
Second and 1 is often an invitation to take the big shot downfield. I'll bet the offensive lineman said, are you kidding? We just get on our backs and let's go get the first down. They love being physical.
So here's a first and 10 at the 38. A first carry now for Chase Edmonds. And he'll muscle his way up to the 43 for a pickup of right around 5.
That's a really good gain right there. They pick up 5 yards halfway to a first down. The only problem now in the huddle, everyone's going to want to touch the football. Be a lot of chattering now because they've seen that they can move the line of scrimmage.
The first down run got 5. Here's 2nd and 5. They'll look to throw. And this throw a bit late as he couldn't reach back for it.
I certainly thought he had an open look beyond the first down marker to his receiver, but they just couldn't connect, and that will send them back to the drawing board.
They come up now 3rd and 5 following the incomplete pass. They'll set up to throw. He's got a man. It's his fullback. And he's going to be taken down. Plus, there's a penalty flag in the backfield. They may get 15 more on top of this. Well, Charles, sometimes we talk about the lengths officials sometimes go to protect star quarterbacks, but that was tough to argue against.
Yeah, and I'm sure that everyone's going to say, hey, we're going to administer the penalty the same way for all quarterbacks. But when it's a star back there, even more so are they going to be diligent.
And now a fumble. The ball's out, and they will take over at the 26-yard line.
Holding. Defense.
Wait a second, they declined the penalty?
I'm as puzzled as you are, partner. I don't understand how any time you lose possession of the ball, yet you turn down a penalty that would give you possession back. Let's make this simple. Anyone who plays the game, take the football. Always take the football.
On first down, Brady. Man open, that's Ray McCloud. This will be stopped about 2 yards shy of the marker. 8-yard gain, 2nd and 2.
He decided to run a hitch route. It really helps to have a guy who can turn it loose. And boy, he rifled one in there on that one. Not much run after catch, but it worked really well.
First carry of the game for Christian McCaffrey. A gain of 5, good enough for the first down.
2nd and 2 is prime time for a little bit of a gamble, isn't it? Open up the playbook, go play action, toss that bad boy deep. But in this situation, go ahead and give it to your back. Let it pick up a first down. Keep the sticks moving.
So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. Up the middle, here's Mitchell. And some good acceleration there as he's across midfield to the 48-yard line. 13 yards there and a Niner first.
Well, they came into this game saying it was important that they set the tone and show that they can run the football. And I believe that they've done that here in the first quarter.
So now 1st and 10 as they've crossed into Miami territory at the 48-yard line. How about this? They'll try the option, left side. And they go backwards here, losing yardage back at the 48-yard line. A nice stick and stop for a loss here from Jalen Phillips. Well, that play never really got off the launching pad. He had a linebacker in his face before he had a chance to do much of anything.
Yeah, I think it's big boys up front, that offensive line. They've got to do a little bit better job of protecting him if they're going to continue to run the option like this.
They'll have to deal with a 2nd and 14 now after the loss. Now they'll throw with Brady. Throw right side is going to be caught by Samuel. And he's down right around midfield after a gain of 2, maybe 3.
It's a game of matchups, and that's why you take your receivers and move them around a bunch, especially your best guys. And when they work out of the slot, you often hear the coaches talk about how great it is because it gives you a two-way go. You can break out or you can break in. That makes it hard to defend.
From midfield, here's Brady. Back to Deebo Samuel for consecutive catches. And he gets this only to the 44-yard line. Not near enough to keep the drive alive. And that's good for a gain of 6. And that'll bring up 4th down.
Well, we hear so often how tackling has become almost a lost art in the NFL game. But it's so important to tackle well on these receivers, especially in a play like this one. 3rd down, they gave him the underneath stuff. You got to go up and make the tackle right away.
Here's Mitch Wishnowsky now. And this will be out of bounds. Now it's a question of where they'll mark it. And they'll say it crosses at the 11-yard line. So Miami coming out for their 2nd drive. They've got a 7-0 lead in the football as well as they start out 1st and 10. They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. That's out to the flat for Edmonds. And he'll get it up here this time to the 21. And that's good for a pickup of 10 yards. And they'll be left with a 2nd and about a 4.
Just about every quarterback is trained to really look downfield first before you come back and make a nice, safe throw. And in this case, that's exactly what he did. Found his running back, let him create some space, and it turned out to be a nice play for the offense.
On 2nd down, this is Edmonds. And he'll have a Dolphins 1st down as he gets this up past the 30 to the 32. After 1, 7-0 on EA Sports. It's Dolphins football here as we begin the 2nd quarter. As they've got it with a 1st and 10. They'll run with Edmonds again. And he edges forward, but only gets a pair of yards out of it. It's 2nd down.
That play reminded me a lot of a former teammate of mine. We used to call him the trash man. His ability to sift through traffic and make plays was uncanny.
And that's exactly what you want from your Mike linebacker. The last run got a couple. Here's 2nd and 8. He'll drop to throw. And his throw here's incomplete.
A lot of times it's that first read that you had. Maybe you get it in pre-snap. He locked in on his target, but he was covered quite well, and that one's incomplete.
So the failure to connect on 2nd down, that leaves him staring up here at a 3rd and 8. They'll drop to throw. And going deep for Hill. That's caught inside the 20. And he'll be touched down here, but not before he does pick up the 1st. It's a big play there for Miami. 46 yards.
We always talk about the guy who paid off the play, don't we? The guy who caught it or ran it. But how about the elements that go into making a big play? This one in particular, able to scan the field. Pocket held up nicely. What a terrific job by the offensive line. The route, well run, and the football, right on the money.
So a big play as it gets him all the way down to the 20 now for 1st and 10. Inside the red zone here, they'll look to throw. Tyreek Hill's got another one. And they're going to get this down inside the 15.
They kept the receiver in the short field, but that let his quarterback get the ball quickly to him before either guy in double coverage could react.
Back to throw again. Over the middle, he's got Gesicki, the big 6'5" tight end. And the Dolphins are going to have a 1st and goal as the tackle is made at about the 5.
I got a kick out of that one, partner. You and I talk often about trying to hide receivers in certain situations, but a guy of his size can't really hide him. But the tight end drag route, definitely an effective way to sneak him across the formation for an easy completion and a 1st down.
They'll stick with the passing game as he looks to throw. And it's incomplete.
He certainly appeared to take away his first read, and by the time he tried to look elsewhere and find an open target, the coverage was too good. That one falls incomplete.
A line of scrimmage once again, the 5 as they get ready for 2nd and goal. And they'll let the fullback try and take him home. And he'll take this into the end zone for a Dolphins touchdown. Alec Ingold, a 5-yard touchdown run. And the Dolphins go up by 2 touchdowns. Well, it was 2nd and goal. You're in there close. That's the fullback's comfort zone.
Not only is it his comfort zone, it's an expectation. That's what he's supposed to do. Turn and hand it to him. Big guys fire out. Find your way into the end zone.
Sanders now to add the extra point. And it's good to make it 14-0. That time a 9-play drive. And it's finished off with a 5-yard touchdown run. Morstead out now following the touchdown to kick.
Fielded just outside the goal line. San Francisco set to go on offense once more.
And they're in a bind early here, down 14-0. Are you worried at this stage or still too early?
You're worried. You're just trying not to transmit it to the rest of your team. You want to make sure that they stay positive. But at the same time, you're wondering, how are we going to move the football? What do we have on this play sheet that can work? Get back to basics is usually your answer. And make sure you find the guy who can move the ball fastest for you if you just get it in his hands.
Yeah, still 2nd quarter. You get points on the board here. I think you're feeling okay.
Here's Mitchell now to kick off the drive.
Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
Well, it's time for them to be good teammates right here. What I mean by that is possess the ball for a little while. Get at least 2 first downs. Give their defense a chance to settle down a little bit after they give up a touchdown.
The run only got a yard. Here's 2nd and 9. To throw is Brady. That's going to be caught by Samuel. That'll give him 8 that time, and that's going to bring up 3rd and 2.
That ex-teammate used to tell me all the time, I hate experienced quarterbacks because no matter what, you really can't hide what you're doing. And I think that right there, he knew right away where the blitz was coming from, where his primary guy was going to be, and he ended up going to a secondary target for a nice game.
I was just going to ask you, that wasn't the primary target. He's so good at that, isn't he?
I think he knew right away that he wasn't going to get to his primary guy. I think he read that as soon as he got to the line of scrimmage, knew where the pressure was going to come from, and said, I know how to beat that, and that's what he did.
No gain on the play there, and it'll bring up 4th down. Here's Mitch Wishnowsky now on to punt. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. Here's Hill on the return. 44-yard punt, return of 9.
And they will take over 1st and 10. The Dolphins about set to go to work on offense.
It's been a good first half so far. They're up 14-0. Points here, they could really put them in command before intermission.
Yeah, and it's all well and good what they're seeing and how they're feeling right now. But this is the NFL. How many times have we watched 14-0 leads evaporate and quickly? So how have we seen them combat it? Continue to run your offense, but don't back off at all. Don't start looking at the clock. Don't start thinking about, hey, just take care of the football. Keep attacking. Usually the best way to maintain control.
Throwing here to start the drive as they connect left side. And they've got it well across midfield down to the 40 before it's all said and done. Call that a very strong gain of 24.
But one of the ways that quarterbacks keep all the receivers alive in a play, never lock in on any one guy. Make sure you keep your eyes moving, scan the field, And here he finds the open guy for a nice pickup.
They'll look to throw here on first down. Gesicki hauling in the quick throw. And he'll be hauled down at about the 30-yard line.
That coaches always harp on the quarterback reading the defense and getting it to the open man. That's good recognition there. And how about what he did after the catch?
Yeah, hit your tight end. Let him get some rack.
Yeah, when he gets moving, not many guys want to come over and put a hit on him, do they?
Still a few inches short of a first down as they come up now on second down. He'll look to throw. That's complete to Edmonds, his running back. And they'll work this down inside the 30. And a good quarterback facing zone coverage. If he has just a little bit of time to survey the scene, that's what's going to happen.
No doubt about it. If there's no pressure, he's going to continue to pick them apart because he'll have all that time to find someone open downfield. You can only cover for so long. So maybe they want to go to a zone blitz scheme, get a little bit more pressure. Remember when Carolina did that against Denver? They lost the game ultimately. They dropped the defensive end out, and he ended up with an interception in that game in Super Bowl 50. Maybe some sort of scheme like that to try and get more pressure at the passer.
Come on, you serious, dog?
So a roughing the passer penalty there, CD.
And we know that these pass rushers love to get after rookie quarterbacks, but they've still got to do it within the scope of the rules. And that time, the hit came just a little bit too late. And the official won't even think twice about pulling his flag on that one.
Gets it to Hill. It's a jet sweep. And he'll find his way down right around the 12. 1:58 left to play till we hit halftime. Here's a 2nd and 7. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Hill down to the 6-yard line on a pickup of 6 as he gets halfway to the goal line.
Timing is so important on a route like this because he's going to line up out right, then cut straight across the field. I think the ball might have come out a count or two too late because by the time he was able to secure it, not much of a chance to turn it upfield.
Here's a play fake as they set up to throw. That is caught by Waddle. Touchdown, Miami. It's a 6-yard touchdown pass. And the Dolphins have moved out in front by 3 touchdowns. Well, I don't think that we're ready yet to say the route is on, but they have certainly looked near flawless here in this first half, and now an extra point away from making it 21-0.
Yeah, and your experience led you to say that because we have both seen those 21-0 leads come and go in this league, but this one feels pretty darn secure. And here's the other part. Even when people chip away at it, it forces you into being almost perfect on the other side, doesn't it, in order to try and mount a comeback.
Extra point up and good by Sanders, and that makes the score 21-0. That time a 6-play drive, and it was finished off by a Jalen Waddle touchdown. Morstead out now following the touchdown to kick. Taken in at the 3. And he takes this near the 25. Just a little pass there. Call it the 26. And San Francisco gets set to go here. Charles, we'll see what they can do here. Not a ton of time left, but enough certainly to get points out of this drive. And they need them right now because they're trailing.
Yeah, and this is exactly why you practice a 2-minute drill all through camp and at least one practice each week before a game. A minute left, more than enough time to string a few completions together, reach the end zone, and then make that walk back to the locker room just a little more animated.
Brady now on first down. Over the middle, complete to Samuel. And the result here, a pickup of 8. Leaves him with 2 to go on second down. That time they hit him out of the slot on the drag.
And that route takes some fortitude from the guy running it because he knows he's going through the briar patch, as I like to call it, right? He's trying to work his way through all that traffic and people wanting to put a little contact on him. Really well done.
The 49ers now going to use the first of their timeouts as they'll stop it with just over a minute to go before halftime.
Let's go, boys. Let's go. Who's going to make a play, baby? Let's go, fellas.
To throw again on second down. Brady. And a loose football. And this is picked up by the Dolphins. And some room to maneuver. And it's a terrific return here as he's going to have them set up with a 1st and goal right at about the 6-yard line. There are 2 words that we hear coaches say all of the time. One starts with a B, one starts with an S. Ball security.
And they preach it. They have it up in meeting rooms, right? You see the signs. They talk about it all the time. But still, when you've got defenders out there who are preaching, hey, we're going to take the ball away from you, no matter what position you play, you've got to take care of the rock.
A chance to really cap off a big first half here as they come up on 1st and goal. Back to throw here. And just not enough on the throw there. Down around his feet and incomplete.
Partner, this is almost an unwinnable spot for a defense. They have to come right out for a 1st and goal trying to stop them. But let me hold on a second. Let me take that back real quick. They can win here if they force a field goal try. Still a long ways away from that happening, but that has to be what they're thinking right now.
2nd and 6. He'll swing that out to Edmonds. And he's going to be brought down just shy of the 5 at the 6. Now the Dolphins going to burn the first of their timeouts as they'll stop it with 40 seconds remaining in this first half.
Let's go. They can't read us straight up.
Now they'd really like to make the short field pay off. We'll see if they can, but this is 3rd and goal. He'll look to throw. And he's taken down, trying to do a little too much, getting outside of the pocket, and it results in a sack.
Play smart, baby.
So on 4th down, Dolphin kicker Jason Sanders comes on. From the right hash, just a 34-yard attempt. Sanders' kick is good, and the route is on. It's 24-0. So the fumble recovery had him set up in ideal field position, but they can muster only 3 points out of it.
Yeah, when you're able to force turnovers, especially when it results in field position like they had, you really want to make it hurt. Here, they take the field goal. That's definitely not what they were hoping for.
Morstead, the punter, out to kick it off. This one fielded at the 5. And he'll get it up across the 20 to the 21-yard line. The Niners ready to go on offense for the final time of this first half. And with time quickly fading here in the second quarter, not sure how aggressively, offensively they want to play this.
I think we'll find out just how much they trust their guys in this situation if they decide to take a shot.
A little under 30 seconds to go. We'll see how they play it here on 1st and 10. Here's Brady. Open man is Samuel, complete. And now the Niners going to signal for their third and final timeout as the clock will stop with 20 seconds to go in the first half. From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10. Here's Brady to throw. He rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted. Picked up by Xavier Howard. And the Dolphins are going to take possession of the football. An unfortunate sequence there, trying to get points before intermission, but now the interception, and their opponents have a chance to possibly pad their lead.
Yeah, they had an opportunity there, and they weren't able to capitalize on it, and that's something that could come back and haunt them later. They're begging their defense now to keep them from scoring before the half ends.
They'll try and start this drive in the air. On target over the middle to Hill. And he'll be taken down at about the 22-yard line. Now a timeout taken. Perhaps a chance for one more quick play and then another timeout if they hurry. We'll see. Second and 2. They'll look to throw. Escaping the pressure. And he can't find anywhere to go with it. And he goes down. And with just 1 second remaining in the first half, they'll call the timeout. So with 1 second left in the half, on is the field goal unit. On the right hash, officially this will be a 51-yard attempt. And no, it doesn't get there. Hits the crossbar, bounces back out. He had it online, but it comes up about a rotation short. So we've reached halftime here, and it's the visiting Dolphins taking a lead to the locker room. As we'll send you eastward to Orlando. Standing by with that EA Sports halftime report now is Jonathan Coachman. Take it away, Coach.
First, though, time for a check of the next-gen stats from that first half for Miami. And their offense has been in top form so far, especially their passing game, as it's helped push them out to this big halftime lead. Meanwhile, for the Niners, they did not have quite the same amount of success in the passing game that their counterparts did, as you get a look at the numbers there.
And we welcome you back live now inside the booth alongside Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin, set and ready to rock for the third quarter. The Dolphins in front, and they'll be in possession of the football first as the second half gets started. This one fielded at the 5. And he won't quite make it to the 25. Out comes the Dolphins now. They'll go on offense first here in this third quarter. They'll start on the ground with Edmonds. And this one goes nowhere. Losing yardage back at the 22. That whole thing was thrown off track thanks to the defense of Fred Warner. Really nice play.
And plays like that are exactly what this defense needs here early in the second half to give it a little spark. I think their halftime adjustment, what they talked about, maybe it was just a little inspirational speech. Who knows? But it looks like they're ready to go.
Now a throw here to his running back. And he's taken down but able to slip across the 35. A Miami first down on the 14-yard pickup.
And while we may be looking at the scoreboard, this offense certainly is not, because they're showing no signs of backing down, even with a 3-score lead here in the third quarter. I think they keep taking their shots. They've seen blown leads happen throughout this league. They don't want to fall victim to it themselves.
So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. Now a run straight ahead with Edmonds. And he'll grab a gain of 5 out of this up to the 41-yard line.
That's a really nice, tough run inside, and they gained 5 yards on it. And to be frank about it, most offenses don't expect to get 5 yards on a play call like that. So when they do, they go back to their huddle with a little pep in their steps. They're starting to think that they're starting to dominate the line of scrimmage.
Second down and another run with Edmonds. It's a 5-yard gain, but they'll still be a yard short here with 3rd down now looming.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here, because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time and making it work.
So they just need 1 yard here to pick up the first down. Out of the gun now on 3rd down. And this is going to be incomplete.
I see the surprise in your face there, partner. That is a rare incompletion from him. He's been on point this entire game.
He has percentage completion-wise way up. Not that time. Here's Thomas Morstead now. And the way this offense has moved the ball, he hasn't been needed till here in the 3rd. And that is much too long. That's into the end zone for a touchback. Here's a look at the 49ers offense as they make their way out for their first possession of the second half. They're sort of seeing themselves spiral out of control. Let's see if they can get things back on track.
And this is where the coach is walking that line of being calm and really being firm with his team. I had one tell me once, when we were having a tough patch, this too shall pass, this too shall pass. And finally we kept having a rough patch. He said, but you got to do something to make it pass. And that's what they have to do. They've got to get some control back, get themselves reasserted, and calm things down.
See if they can get calm and reassert themselves here. And Brady's throw there, incomplete.
An attempt at a deep ball there. They didn't get it. But, boy, they're going to need a few of those to actually hit in order to get back into this game.
Good thing they do have a little bit of time here still left in the contest. Decent-sized deficit, but not one that they can't manage. They run over center with Mitchell. And he stopped immediately there. Officially nothing on that one, no gain, so they're left with still 10 to go on 3rd down.
He continues to struggle to find a crease to break off a big one, and might need to just put that aside and just try and ram his way forward and get what he can.
This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. Shotgun now for Brady. Oh, had his hands on it, couldn't bring it in. Pretty symptomatic of how this game's been going.
Oh, I thought he had that one, and that was nearly a big 3rd down conversion to give this drive some life. Instead, they're on the spot and help separate the receiver from the ball.
Here comes the 49ers punter now, as he'll punt it away for the 4th time today. And this returnable for Hill. Call it an even 40-yard punt. 7, though, on the return. And out will come the offense as they take over. So now here come the Dolphins. Obviously not the intended goal last drive. They had to punt the football, but still they've got the lead here, and now a chance to add on to that lead if they can get points on this drive. 1st and 10 upcoming. They've got good starting field position as they come up here 1st and 10 at their own 44. It'll be Edmonds to begin the drive. And he's got this one across midfield into 49er territory. It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3.
Offensive linemen love creating space for their guys carrying the ball, but when that guy also breaks tackles and creates extra yardage, they almost feel like he's one of them, and they really embrace him.
2nd down and another run with Edmonds. And he'll be taken down at the 44-yard line. A gain of 5, good enough for the 1st down.
That's a nice pickup of a 1st down on that 2nd down run. And at that yardage gain, they can run that play on any down.
So 1st and 10, and if they score on this drive, might have to start digging in our second half blowout material. Another carry now for Edmonds. Oh, nice move. And good work there in open space, and he's got this all the way down now to the 32. 51 yards on the ground for him now on 9 carries. The CD a lot of times like to separate speed and quickness, and they've got a back that's both. We know that he's fast in the open field, but man, his first step is so quick too.
It is something, isn't it? Because you think of that type of speed getting to the perimeter and turning upfield, but also when you run those inside runs, he can get into the secondary so fast the linebackers don't have a chance to react.
From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10. Got a man complete to Cedric Wilson. And they're going to move it down to inside the 25. Was that a design pass, or what was that?
It was built into the play call. He had the opportunity to either hand it inside, keep it himself to run it, or do what he just did. Throw that pass inside, hitting a receiver on the run.
Running left, here's Edmonds. And he stopped after a gain of 1. Not enough. Still a yard to go on 3rd down. But not much on that run, Charles.
No, that's exactly the way to execute a run blitz there. They guessed correctly that they would move the ball on the ground, honed in on it, and stopped them. Mark that down for a win in the defense's column.
They'll come to the line, needing only 2 yards to gain the first here. Trying to pick it up on the ground with Edmonds. And some determined running there as he'll pick his way down to the 12-yard line. A Miami 1st down, that one going for a gain of 11. We often give credit to the O-line there. 2 tight end formation. Those tight ends block pretty well also.
Yeah, and that's one of the most dynamic positions in football now. The tight ends who can block at the line of scrimmage at the point of attack, and they can also get downfield and catch the football.
From down at the 12, it's 1st and 10. They'll drop to throw. Looking middle, and that's complete. So 5 yards here, 5 on the play, and it'll be 2nd down.
It's a gain of 5. Brings up 2nd and 5 at the Niners 7-yard line.
Now a give to Edmonds. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. Call that a loss of a yard, and things get a little more difficult here. 3rd and 5.
That was well played there defensively. 2 tight ends in the formation, which essentially gave them 7 blockers up front. Hard to imagine with all that size and beef that they could let a tackler through. But that's exactly what happened. A loss resulted.
He's got it. Touchdown, Dolphins. Chase Edmonds. A 7-yard touchdown grab. And the Dolphins will add on to their lead here in the final minute of the 3rd. CD, it seemed like they were so focused on the guys out wide, they forgot about him out of the backfield.
That's a really good point, because you've got to communicate, and oftentimes when you start counting receivers, That's exactly what you do. You start from the widest receiver, work your way inside. Who gets lost sometimes? The back in the backfield. That's exactly what happened there.
And he got into the end zone. Sanders on for the extra point. And the lead grows even larger here in the third quarter. A good drive that time as they go 9 plays in all. And it winds up in 6 points for the Dolphins. Morstead out now following the touchdown to kick. And he'll elect not to return this one, so they'll bring it out to the 25 on the touchback.
San Francisco's offense returns to the field. Well, we haven't exactly been treated to a nail-biter in this one, CD, and if they cannot score here, this one's pretty much all but over.
Are you saying that you feel like people are starting to think about getting out of here, maybe beating the traffic in order to get home or to their final destination?
Yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot of reason to hang around, especially if they can't score here.
Yeah, you're right about that, because it has been pretty clear who the better team has been in this one. And in a league that we talk about every game being a one-score game as we go into it, watching this blowout, let's just say it's been unusual. What a way to start a drive. An excellent run, a tone setter, and now if you want to take a shot on second down and go play action and make it look like the same exact play and throw it over the top, you can do so because you've established the run in a big way.
On 2nd and inches, Brady. Oh, he's got a man wide open, complete. And they're going to have this across midfield and inside the 45. We have played 3 quarters. You are watching the NFL on EA Sports. Back now here in Santa Clara. And this is a blowout so far as we get set for the fourth quarter. A very one-sided affair. Throwing on first down is Brady.
And a dangerous throw there, incomplete. He threw that into coverage. It was nearly intercepted.
And that's another play that's painted the picture of this game overall. It's been a blowout. It's been continually fueled by big turnovers and stops for one side and an inability to advance the ball from the other.
Brady's incompletion on first down leads to a 2nd and 10.
Brady's throw taken in by Samuel.
And he's got another first down as he's brought down at the Dolphins' 32-yard line. A nice pickup there of 11 yards, and it'll move the sticks.
Well, this game was decided a while ago, and that completion there is going to artificially inflate his passing numbers. So right now, the only one really applauding probably his agent as he thinks about angling for a new contract.
Brady's throw there complete. So the completion gets him just a yard, and that will bring up 2nd down.
Can you do any more work or make it more dramatic for not much gain than what we just saw there? Did you see how his toes got down? Tip-tap, got him down. But what did he get out of it?
He sold the sizzle. He just had no steak.
I mean, was it 1 yard?
Yeah, plays like that, you at least expect a first down. They're just 1 yard. Complete to the tight end, Kittle, over the middle of the field. And he'll go down at the 26, following a gain of 6. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. They're tackling them almost on the spot. That means you have to run extra plays, harder to move it.
Brady. And able to haul it in is Kittle. And he's got another first down as he's brought down at the Dolphins' 16. Give him 10 yards there as this offense is on a roll. This drive continues to plunge forward.
Well, this game is certainly pretty well over. They can go ahead and mark it in the win column. But as a defense, they don't want to get so soft now that everybody just throws the ball all over the place against them, gets big yardage, and puts points on the board. They have pride, too, on that side of the ball.
And this carry, despite the good move, will be stopped short of the 10. It's a pickup of 4, and it'll bring up second down.
But that call makes sense because they've been throwing it well on this drive, and once again they show passing formation, showing the shotgun. Then they ran out of it. That's a nice play by them defensively, though, to hold it to a short gain.
A handoff from Mitchell running left. And they'll go backwards here, losing yardage to the 14. It'll go down as a 2-yard loss, and it brings up a third down. This linebacking core, they've done a good job of keeping that running game in check, haven't they?
They certainly have, and what they'll also do when this game is over is thank the guys up front, the big defensive line, because they've kept them clean, so to speak, not letting blockers get to them, allowing them to run to the football and keep that running game bottled up.
This offense so far on third down, just 1 for 5 to this point. This is 3rd and 7. On third down, here's Mitchell. And he can't quite get there. Tackled down at the 1. They're able to convert on third down, and that sets up a 1st and goal.
I think they like this drive a little bit better there, partner. Running game helping out, picking up some of the slack. Because remember, the last drive, they went 3 and out.
McCaffrey diving for the end zone, and he'll get there. Touchdown. So they will get on the scoreboard here. Give him credit for that. Too little, too late, but no 0. Oh, you're going slow clap on me.
Not very nice, is it?
No, but they haven't been very nice on offense. It's been a struggle. Gold with the extra point, and the lead is down to 24. So that one a long 11-play drive. And the last play on the drive, the touchdown run from Christian McCaffrey. So still lots of work left to do, but here comes the onside kick. And the Dolphins are going to recover. Well, 4th quarter, they felt like they needed the football back. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it.
And I know we brought analytics into the game, and someone has said here that the data says that when a team's expecting an onside kick, 80% of the time, the team expecting it, they do actually recover the ball, which is what we saw here. I just wonder if that number is much more of a anecdotal type of a number. Kind of like when the coaches tell us, well, when you score on special teams, 93% of the time you win the game. I'm still waiting to see that number is empirical.
They'll run on first down. Edmonds. Just a yard on the first down carry, so it's 2nd and 9.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where there'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
2nd down and another run with Edmonds. Not much there, maybe a couple as he's taken down at the 40. This defense starting to buckle down when they need to, and right now they're winning this 4th quarter, losing the game, but they're winning in the 4th quarter.
And what a fine line it is about what they're trying to get done, because they're down, so they obviously need the football, need a score, but they can't be so aggressive as to give up their edge, their gaps, and have the offense hit them with a big play.
And able to find Gesicki as tight end. And he is going to have the Dolphins first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
There's a beautiful throw there, and he's been sensational the entire game, moving it around, spreading it, hitting the right guys. And look, under normal situations, partner, I would expect him to come out of the game now. They've got it in hand. But you and I have been around this league a long time, and every time we ask head coaches about it, hey, why don't you take your quarterback out when the game's in hand? They just kind of give us that look like, That's what he's paid to do. So it's a very unusual situation. I'd want him out. They tend to leave him in.
On the handoff, it's Edmonds. And not able to break away this time as they're going to stop him right around the line of scrimmage. He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11.
Sometimes you just sit back and marvel at what he can do defensively. Speed, strength, quickness, he's the whole package. And that package just wrapped up the runner for a loss.
Just 2 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. So the Dolphins have it as we welcome you back in. And the scoreboard on their side, they're just looking to melt away these final couple of minutes and put this one in the left-hand column. And he'll keep it moving down to the 15-yard line. The 71 yards rushing for him now in the ball game.
On a 2nd and long, it's really nice to see an offense that has enough confidence to run the football in that situation. I think that goes back to their practice and game planning. They've seen things that they've seen on tape and in previous games that led them to believe that even in a long-distance situation, they can still run the football and gain enough yardage to put themselves in a good spot on 3rd down.
On 3rd down, they run with Edmonds. And able to get him down, but he does reach the 5. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal.
Well, that's a carry they have to be satisfied with, and throughout this game, they've been satisfied with what he's given them. Whenever they've needed a big run, a 1st down, he's the guy they've turned to. And it doesn't matter what the defense thinks. They feel like they've got the confidence to keep handing it to him and keep picking up good yardage.
Again, they run with Edmonds, and he'll keep working toward that end zone as he's down to about the 2-yard line. It'll be a 3-yard pickup, and it brings up 2nd and goal.
Well, Brandon, we always know that once you score 1 touchdown,
you want 2.
You're without a doubt. And so far today, he's got 1, but was denied as he tried to get the 2nd one.
So a victory here for the Miami Dolphins. And it was their defense that really paved the way to this victory as they allowed the 1 touchdown, and that was all she wrote.
Almost want to do the defense chant right now, right? Defense with a couple of claps in there, but no one wants to hear that from me. Let's just talk about how they got it done, though. When you take care of every aspect of the game, shut down the run, control the airways, right? Make sure the quarterback is harassed. This is the type of performance you get. They can't fashion together any offense, no consistency, and they just took control.